Okay. Part 1. Pesach Sheni. Today's history day, I know. It's also Pesach Sheni. So we'll call it the history of Pesach Sheni. And then, this is much shorter than a regular class, and we'll start what we really want to do today was, what I told you last week, we'll do the story, all the stories you collected about Hashem Bayachai. And we're only going to start that today, probably, because we're going to do this as much as we could, the history of Pesach Sheni, and then we'll do part 2, as much as we could, get a start on Hashem Bayachai, and then we'll finish as Hashem tomorrow. Okay? So this is part 1. Pesach Sheni. It's never too late to walk into class. There's always...
Rabbi, you gotta be nice.
No, that was the theme of it. That's the theme of Pesach Sheni. It's never too late. So Moshe spoke to the Yidden, and he told them to make a Pesach. This is what happened. This is in Parshas Ba'aleischa. And they made the Pesach in the first month, in the 14th day, in the afternoon, while in Midbar Sinai, a year after the Exodus. They did it according to all the instruction that they were given. This is a year after they went out of Mitzvah. It's Pasuk in Parshas Ba'aleischa. Then Pasuk Vav starts the drama. There were some people who were tamei, they were spiritually defiled, impure, in a state of impurity because of contact with a corpse. Whose corpse?
Aaron's sons.
That's one opinion. Or they were involved with Yosef's coffin. So they had all the excuses, by the way. They were doing holy things. But nevertheless, they felt like they missed out on a spiritual experience. Because they were tamei meis. They approached Lifnei Moshe Lifnei Aaron Vayemahu. They came that day, complaining nicely, I'm assuming, but passionately, to Moshe. We were impure to a human corpse because of contact with a human corpse. Lama nigara. Should have made that bold and big. Lama nigara. Why should we lose out? Missing the opportunity to have that closeness with Hashem that was achieved through the carbon Pesach. And Moshe says, good point. Let's see what Hashem says. Okay? It's one of the 4 times that Moshe had to consult Hashem to find out exactly what to do. I'll give you a riddle for homework to tell me the other 3 times. But not now. We're live. Okay. The verse continues, and now Pesach Sheni is introduced. Okay? That was the story that led to it. And Hashem communicates to Moshe as follows. They're impure. So close, but so far, right? Or they're actually far. They should do a Pesach on the 2nd month. A month after Pesach, on the 14th day of the month, in the afternoon, exactly like the first Pesach. On the 14th day in the afternoon before the Seder, and it should be eaten with matzah and mud. Just like the first Pesach. You have to eat it that night, just like the Carbon Pesach of regular Pesach. And you're also not allowed to break any bones in it. Did I ever tell you why? What's the reason why it says you can't break bones in a Carbon Pesach? Yeah, exactly. Poor people break the bones to get every last drop out. There's a lot of laws that have to do with every detail of the Carbon Pesach is significant, but I'm not going to go into it now. Okay. Next. Then, if you also miss this, then you're really in trouble. If you are able to do this you didn't do the first Pesach and the second Pesach. Okay, so this is the verses, the entire text in the Torah about the origin of Pesach Sheni. If you want the history, the origin. It's these few, it's like less than 10 psukim. It's the story, and then Hashem communicates with Moshe the following law. Here we have a very, very ancient cartoon. Didn't we do this just a few weeks ago? Pesach Sheni. Looks almost like a wolf, but I didn't illustrate this. And this time we're going to be ready. This is okay. A letter of the Rebbe. 60th year, the day after Pesach Sheni, it's written. Right after the year the Rebbe became Rebbe, 1951. Okay.
52. No? Oh, I can't see
55,
that.
70, 11.
It's right here.
I was pleased with the opportunity to exchange a few words with you. Okay, let's hear one letter of the Rebbe about this. As you connected your visit with the day of Pesach Sheni, which we observed on the day before yesterday, I want to make it the subject of this letter. One of the significant lessons of Pesach Sheni is never to despair, even when one has not attained the spiritual heights of others. Thus, while all the people are celebrating the Passover at its proper time, and one finds himself far away or otherwise unfit to enter the sanctuary, he is told, do not despair. Begin your way towards the sanctuary. Come closer and closer, for you have a special chance and opportunity to celebrate the second Passover. You try hard enough. Please convey my regards and best wishes to your circle. So the Rebbe's signature. So this is you see the message? Sometimes you see people are spiritually, they're doing things that way ahead of you. You shouldn't judge yourself and say, give up, despair, I'll never amount to anything. People are learning so much and so fast and so deep and I'm, and they're davening and they're exciting and they have all these feelings or it seems like it, or they enjoy Mitzvah, and for me it's Kabbalah, right? And don't compare, don't despair. Should add that. No, it's a good rhyme. Don't compare and don't despair.
If only I could reach a level of Amoretz.
Okay. Some laws. What's the difference?
Don't give up.
The only thing you have to do is bring the Commandment Pesach. Do you notice there was nothing mentioned about getting rid of chametz, which is also pretty deep. You could have chametz then. Another difference is that there was no Hallel recited, as it was by the first Pesach. That had to do also with the actual going out of Mitzrayim. Pesach Sheni is actually, in a way, a separate Yom Tov. It's a separate carbon in its own right. That's why a convert or a bar mitzvah boy brings a Pesach Sheni, even if they became bar mitzvah or they were converted between the two Pesachs, and they were not they didn't miss anything in the first Pesach because they weren't obligated, but still they bring this because they didn't have it then. Yeah.
So if Mashiach were to come between Pesach and Pesach Sheni.
So everyone would bring a Pesach Sheni.
That's the whole question.
And it could still happen. We have a few hours to
That's
do
because
it.
we would have for Father. We wouldn't have brought the first one.
Very good point. It could happen in the next few hours. Till Shkia, it had to be brought. Today. Okay. When do we eat matzah? Another letter of the Rebbe, written Zayin Tammuz, Tavshin Ches? Or Mem? Who could read that clear? Tavshin Ches or Mem? Ches. That means it's before the Rebbe's Nesius. Before the Rebbe became Rebbe. Tzvi, you're with us?
Yeah.
Masha Shalom Lecha Matzah Pesach Sheni. This is before the Rebbe became Rebbe. He wrote a response to someone about when to eat matzah. So, besides what I told you when we spoke in person, that our custom is, which is based on the Minig Beis Chayenu Shlita, the Rebbe's, the Frierdiker Rebbe was alive then, Lechel Matzah B'Sudas Yom Yudala B'Iyar, to eat in the meal on the 14th of Iyar, which is today. In addition to what we spoke about, I found now in the printed Svarim, B'Sefer L'Kutei Meir, Meir Banat, Sharada, Bungar, I don't know.
Exotic.
Okay, it brings us from one place to another. The minhag, here's the thing. The minhag anshe ma'aseh lecho matzah b'yoyim yudala b'iyar. That he brings that people, anshe ma'aseh, people try to do things properly, would eat matzah on the 14th. But this is very strange. If matzah represents the carbon, is in lieu of the carbon Pesach, like the Afikomen is by us, you have to eat it the night after the 14th. During the Seder is the night after you offer it. Okay, this place, Amri, Eish, different. These are different sources again. I'm not even sure what they all are. That some had a custom to eat matzah and a boiled egg on the night out. Go the munkach, okay. I said, Hevi Sheminig munkach, Hayalecha matzah mara b'sudas yenu dalida, V'asha chilas Pesach Sheni haya b'leil tezvav, Mikoma kama akrava haya b'yoy, Ikan hu ha'aschala, Leil tezvav haya gamke b'daktik lecho matzah. But he would also eat matzah the night after. So they would bring different customs and different sources, and this is what we try to do, to wash today and have some matzah, and also tonight. Tonight
Also
if
last
possible. Not last night.
Whoever brings in a sicha, he says there's a whatever.
It starts from that day, but okay.
So answer thing, he also said martyr, no?
No,
The last part, look at it again. Definition.
that's by the day. By the day they eat more. The mukbang should eat by day more, but not tonight.
Today martyr.
Not tonight. Yeah, here.
That's what I was telling
Yeah,
you
yeah.
before.
Yeah, whoever mentions it. Okay. So what's the two main takeaways of this day? Every day, what's the difference it's going to make in my life? So first of all, nishtakein farfalin. One can always rectify the situation, even if you were distant, even if it was intentional, like the Yom Yom says, right? So that means you think sometimes, no, I when my mess ups, I was just careless. I just, I'm not. You're never too far. You're never disconnected. You could always repair. You could always catch up. You could always get close again. That's the first message. Even if it was intentionally far, when it happened, you missed opportunity, there's always a way to correct it. As long as a person's alive, you could always fix things. What if you miss Pesach Sheni? You only have one chance. Is this defeating the whole purpose? Why is this idea taught in connection with Pesach? What if I missed Lulav or Shofar? It seems like we're teaching it, but in a very limited scope. That for Pesach, Carbon Pesach, you have one chance. So you have to realize what the pshat is. This is a concept. The shtakein farfalin, they could always rectify. It's a concept that is taught by Pesach because that's the beginning of Judaism. The first thing you have to know is the nature of our bond with Hashem is really, really powerful indeed. That means even if you do things that cause distance and the opposite of closeness, you're still able to always become close again because there's a part of you that's never affected by any mess ups that you do. Part of your relationship and your bond. That's the first thing you know. And he gives you, and he teaches it to us in Pesach, which is the first thing as soon as we became Jewish, as we entered into this relationship with Hashem. Once you get the idea, you figure out a way to do it. You know that you could do it in anything. That's the point. You could, if shayfer, whatever it is, you got the idea, right, that Hashem, if you really care, will find a way to be able to catch up in the relationship with whatever you missed out. That's why it teaches you this way. What's the second main message of Pesach Sheni?
So again, can you bring up Pesach Shlishi? What's the
Same point. It's the same thing, just like Lulav and Shofar. Once he teaches you the concept in the beginning of Yiddishkeit, you understand that it applies anywhere. Same thing would be if you miss Pesach Sheni. You already learned the concept. It's a concept. It's not just a technical thing. It's that if you really, really mourn and you really, really care, Hashem will open a door for you. Find a way. Okay.
well, let's see someone begash me. He couldn't. He missed something.
Okay. So if you really care, you'll find a way to get. It's all the ruchnistic and your relationship with Hashem. So you could do tshuva. It's a concept of you could find a way to get closer to Hashem, just like as if you did that. Actually, just like Aderech, that we spoke by tshuva, that there's certain levels of tshuva that your demerits, your mess ups are counted as merits. That your zdainos are counted as schuyas, your intentional sin. That's the idea. Okay, this is a whole other idea that Hashem wants you to demand. Hashem wants. It says in Sfarim that Mashiach is going to come in the schus of the asking for it and demanding it. When he came out with Mashiach, people were saying Ad Mosai, it's such a chutzpah. And the Rebbe started in the early 1980s. The Rebbe said we have to ask Ad Mosai, we have to complain. So the Rebbe mentioned Pesach Sheni and said people were just being critical. Unfortunately, there was jealousy and a lot of people just like whatever they would come out with. There was mockery and there was, oh yeah, the man so chutzpah, you demand tell Hashem you want Mashiach now, like who are you to say that? But you see from here, they just lost that on one carbon, and the Torah shows that was Hashem was very pleased, but they came and complained and said, why are we losing out? How much more so us for thousands of years? How many mitzvahs are we not able to do? How many kabbalas? How many mitzvahs? Because there's no Beis Hamikdash. Forget about all the suffering, right? So Hashem would appreciate if we would focus on this and care about it and show that could earn Mashiach. How much more so? The Torah teaches you this example. Let's end off with one more point and then we'll go to part 2. There's 3 Hasidic twos. Okay? Shenis. You heard of this? The 3 Shenis. There's the Nefesh HaShenis,
I didn't know.
Cheder Sheni,
No.
and
No.
Pesach Sheni.
Uh,
Right? The Fidik ever writes this already.
what is
This,
Cheder
the godly soul. Cheder Sheni
This
is called
the Sheni.
Chabadnitza. Yeah. Chabadnitza.
What's that about?
Chabadnitza. I'll explain in a second. And the second Pesach. They used to say, a shul without a Chabadnitza, the tarnish davening. If a shul didn't have a little room on the side for people who wanted to lose themselves in davening and undisturbed and be able to daven for hours, which means a shul that doesn't respect that, they don't realize that the best thing you could have for your children is to have in the side, be able to show them there's people who are losing themselves in a good davening. They have to have the respect for the concept, even if not everyone is using it. But the shul has to. They don't have that appreciation for this, for the value of that. That there's a kind of people should be able to, after they daven everything. And we don't mean waking up late davening. I mean like they're preparing from early, and they listen to everything in the minyan, and then they're continuing davening on their own there, while the kiddush is in the main room. It's a concept, and it's called a Chabadnitza, they used to call it. There was a point where they said that they had this line that the shul doesn't have this, you shouldn't daven it. And Chassidim would say that you have to take the Nefesh HaShenis into the Cheder Sheni and Praven Pesach Sheni, and do a good tshuva. You have to activate your godly soul, have a good davening, pour out your heart and soul in prayer, in the words of prayer, and do a little bit Pesach Sheni, do a little tshuva, get a little closer to who you really are. And that's the end of part 1. I think what I'll do is I'll stop recording.